And welcome everybody. This is Douglas Calvin and you are at the Time Excellence Show. My name is Douglas Calvin and you can find me at douglascalvin.com. Hi everybody. Glad you were able to come today, and we're going to have a great training class today, a discussion. And what we're talking about today is daily time. This is the second episode of our Time Viewpoint series, and we're going to learn a lot of good stuff and really focus in on daily time. So, daily time. What is daily time? What is total daily time? Well, I don't think you had to get on this webinar to figure it out, that we each have how much time? We have 24 hours a day. Each one of us. It's a fair allocation of time, and I know many times we all want more. Well, I wish we had 26 hours in a day because it just doesn't last. But that's the key concept in daily time, is 24 hours. And what we're going to look at today is, what do we do with that time? Well, first off, we've got to consider the difference between total daily time and what our wake time is. Now, the wake time, when we're awake, it's a simple process to calculate it. Everyone's a little different, but let me make some general assumptions. Typically, we're recommended to get 8 hours of sleep. Now, I know a lot of you moms are saying, there is no way. But let's just use 8 hours as a target or a goal. So if we have 24 hours in a day, and we have 8 hours out of that day that's sleeping, we're left with 16 hours to get everything else done. 16 hours to get the rest of our day, everything accomplished we want to. And that's pretty consistent, with the exception that, let me think about a plus minus on the sleep. The sleep could be a little more, it could be a little less, depends on the person. So a visual of that would show 24 hours in a vertical bar, and we could just chop out the sleeping time right out of our day. 8 hours worth on average. It might be 7, might be 6, but there's our 16 hours. And what we want to think about is, this is the time that is available. It's the wake time, but it's also the available time. We can do what we want, with quotation marks around it. I know we can't do everything we want, but we can do kind of what we want in that time period. We've got that 24 hours minus 8 or 16 hours that's available. So it's that time that we're going to be looking at, and it's that time we're going to have to make a difference in. We have available time and lack thereof. Some of us are in a deficit. Some of us have extra time. That may be time that's very directional, or it may be, well, I don't know what I'm doing today. Let me figure it out. So the available time is what we all have to work with. So let's do an example. What if I take the 24 hours and take 8 hours out for sleep, and then I start putting in other items that actually will let us see the details in the day. It's the time that allows us to get dressed, for instance. 3/4 of an hour total. That's dressing and undressing, showering, whatever you do. I just allocated 3/4 of an hour. We work possibly 8 hours a day. That's the time that we are expected to be at work in many situations. If you're have your own company, it might be a little different. It's probably more. Let's put some transit time in there. In the U.S., a half hour each way is an average that people go. I know in Houston, where I live, it's a whole lot more than that. I have driven an hour each way to work, but the averages for the nation are about half hour each way. So let's put an hour in for that to and from. Let's put some overtime in. People work a little extra, they chat extra, they have a meeting late, etc. Food prep time, an hour and a half. That's not a lot. That's for 3 meals to get all the preparation and done and cleanup done in an hour and a half. That's not a whole lot. Eating time, 2 hours. Put some time in there for lunch, some time for breakfast, maybe an hour for supper. And computer time, we've got to check our emails, we've got to be on our social media, we've got to be checking the news, whatever you do, put an hour in there for that. And errands, a quarter of an hour. Now that's 15 minutes average a day. Not a lot, but it's a little bit of time. And so if you want once every 4 days, you'd have an hour. Well, you can hardly run an errand in that time. But look what just happened. Even with those assumptions, I came up with 23 and a half hours out of, what did we say? We only had 24 hours. All right. So we didn't do anything for kids' times if you have kids. We didn't do any personal time. Everybody needs some personal time, or would like to have some. Didn't exercise at all, other than, you know, running to work or running to chase the kids. Volunteer work, special project we didn't put any time in. Writing a book, we didn't put anything like that. We did not put any time in. So what we can see very quickly is our days get allocated very quickly. And there is a constant pressure to come in from the side with other stuff. Things happen, and the best plans that we've got impact that. And so it's always a challenge. So looking at it graphically, we can say there are large opportunity chunks in our days. There's the food prep and eating daily. It takes up a lot of time if we add those two together. And so as we take our 24 hours and chop them out, the visual is pretty striking. It says there's that little bit of time that we had left to get things done. And if we looked at a percent of the wake time, the percent of the time, you know, half our time is working of our wake time. That's 8 hours divided by 16 hours of wake time. That's equal to 50%. So 50% is gone right just by working during the work week, etc., etc. 3.1% in our example was left over. Now I know these numbers aren't exact, but put your own numbers in, and probably you'll quickly find you have run out of time in most cases, not in all cases. Okay? So daily time is very fair. We all have 24 hours in a day. We all have about 16 hours of wake time in a day. But the question is, what do we choose to do with our wake time? Choose proactive. Not let the world just come in on us and I need you for this, I need you for that, be here at this time. We can't control everything, but we can control quite a bit if we try. And with that time, we can then ultimately make a difference where we feel we need to. But remember, there's one key point that we need to recall, which is that we are each unique. So those numbers I put up may or may not tie to what you have, but you see the methodology. You see how we can look at things. We're all at different stages of life. We all have a different skill set. Our education levels are different. We may be able to get things done quicker or not as much. What we're educated about is different. Our family, our size, their needs, what age they are, those are all different. How extended our family, how many responsibilities for the family we have. Our friends, you know, friends are there to help, and we may have just moved into a city. We don't have friends established yet. We don't have a lot of help, and that can impact us. Or the other way around, we have a lot of friends, and there's a lot of demands on us. They're needing things, and it's part of our existence to really help. Our health can be different. Our wealth can be different. The money we have, disposable income, is different across everybody. Our beliefs are different. Our personalities are different, and we go on and on. But uniqueness is what we're about. Uniqueness is what makes our time situation also unique. So of the available time that we do have, some people are just flat bankrupt. Some people really just don't have, just don't have the time and their tasks are squeezed. And what things usually get squeezed? Personal time, sleep. Some single parents can tell me real quick, I don't have any time for me. Everything's for them. I got to be somewhere. I got to be earning a living. I've got to be on the run. I stay up late. I don't sleep enough. I don't get to the doctor enough. I don't do what I need to do. I surely don't have time to read a book. And then when the weekend comes, I've got to run harder to make up for all the things I didn't get through and put off during the week because I just didn't have time. Another set of people have some directionless time. And directionless time is they've got the time, but they may not have focused in on what they need to get accomplished or how to get it accomplished. They're available, but it's just not effective. They're not making a difference where they need to. Question: is your current time, is my current time situation okay? Is it where we need to be? Many of us would say, of course not. I just really wish I could do better. So what would we strive for? We would strive to use our time the best way that we can. And if you remember our last session, we talked about time and two meanings for time. The first was calendar time or clock time. We're very familiar with that. Calendar or clock time. We have an English word for it. It's called time. But we also studied that there's another part of time, and it's another meaning for time that adds some real nice color to how we can look at it and how we can actually look at the time that we have, and it's time opportunities. So time opportunities, the ancient Greeks had that as a concept, and they would use it for, like, picking a fruit is the example we use. Picking fruit it takes time, but there is a time to pick fruit. Too early is not good, it's not ripe. Too late is not good because the bugs get it and or the fruit is starting to deteriorate and rot. So there is that perfect time. And our lives are somewhat similar if you think about it. Just think about your life when there opportunities come into your day. And if you have no open available time, you tend to push them off or just keep blowing through. I didn't really see that person in need. I didn't really see my friend that called, and I didn't have time to really go over, but they were having an issue. I didn't have time to volunteer. I didn't have time to work with my employees. I didn't have time to put on improvement processes that for my department at work, I could actually save a lot of time by eliminating waste and using key time principles to do it. So think about using time opportunities the best way that we can. That is our goal, and that's what we should be about. All right, so what have we learned? We've learned that we have 24 hours. We've learned that our time commitments can come in and we may actually not have enough time. We may actually have a unique situation that is unique to us that others don't have. We were not born with this problem. We started out with a clean slate. We had the 24 hours and we had no time commitments, and we were born. And where we're at today, we've had a big part in getting us there. And society has come in on that also. And we also have to maximize our time where we can make a difference. So we have to pinpoint what is our calling, what is our unique purpose. We have to look at different things. We can't copy what other people have said. And that's a unique thing about daily time is the available time may be about the same mathematically, but it's a total different animal when you talk about individual purposes and individual challenges that we all face. All right, so our homework this time is to watch your daily schedule. Think about it as you go through. Look at your daily time and see what's available, what's not. Where are you spending your time? And are needs arising, or are there things you should be doing or want to do to make a difference to others? Are those things absolutely, totally being bypassed? Are those things being not seen? And there's a need to do better if it's possible. And in most cases, it's always possible to do better if we work at it. Okay, so how can you keep in touch with us? You can keep in touch with us at douglascalvin.com. That will get you to our main site, and there's a lot of free content there. We're adding to it daily. Part of this series, this new series that you're listening to now, is part of that training and free material there. There's also free webinar registration available. That's at douglascalvin.com/webinar. There's also a free training content access. That's at douglascalvin.com/go/free things. That's douglascalvin.com/go/freethings. And there is no space. Okay. If you need to get to our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, just all you have to do is go to the site on the top right is buttons to get you there. Now, how can you help? Well, this information is going out, and it's going out to basically the internet world. And when you comment or share or retweet or friend us or thumbs up us or click on us, anything of that activity helps the ratings and the distribution through the social media, helps it get out to more people. So that's a big way to help. You can also purchase things that are recommended on our site. These are called affiliate links, and a small percentage comes through to us, and it helps fund the broadcasting and the equipment it takes and the maintenance it takes to keep computer systems up and keep the bandwidth up, etc. So that's at douglascalvin.com/recommend. RECOMMEND. Okay, so keep in touch. Keep in touch and be part of the solution for the time excellence in everyone's lives. All right, so that brings us pretty much to the end of our session today, and I really thank you for coming. Remember to maximize your time and make a difference. Just make a difference. Make the world a better place. Your little world, the big world, either one, we've accomplished our goal. So this is Douglas Calvin saying thanks for joining, and have a great rest of the day, and we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.